Hey there, fellow marketers, Professor Wolters here, and today we're going to talk about one of the 4 P's of marketing, and that is price. And what you have to realize is when you're coming up with a price, what you're really doing is capturing value. You figure out is how much is something worth to people. That's how we have a price. What is the true value of it? And the thing is, when we look at it, we have to realize this price is all the things that people are going to give up to obtain our product or service, to kind of believe in our idea. We have to think about these things. What's the time it takes? What's the money they're going to spend? What's the effort they have to put into doing things? The energy they have to use to make it happen. All these things out there, we're trying to capture all that. Right? We're trying to figure out, what is this all worth, okay? And the thing is, when we look at price and we look at capturing value, what we have to realize is that the perception of value is different by person. I mean, think about it. If I tell you, hey, I'll give you a $2,000 ticket to London, well, is that a good price or a bad price? Well, if you're living in Germany, that's a horrible price. You can fly for like 50 euros to get there, or $50 to get there. I mean, it's next to nothing. But what if you're coming from the US and you're going there in the summer? Oh, well, last year when I got a ticket, it was like $1,300. But if I went in the fall, it was only $600. So $2,000 still seems like a lot. So for me, that's not really a good value. So I'm going to keep searching for other plane ticket prices. But what if I tell you this? For $2,000, you get a flight from here in the US to London. You get 7 nights in a hotel, a 5-star hotel, and tickets to the hottest show in the West End. Oh, well, that's a little different because those nice hotels can be like $500 a night. And going to see one of the best shows in the West End, 200, 300 pounds, so $200, $500 maybe for tickets. Wow, oh, wait a minute. Now we're kind of changing my perception of if this is a good value or not. So what we need to do is really kind of think about is, how do customers come up with their perception of prices? So one thing you might look at is, what is their historical perspective? So for example, if you tell me $2,000 to go to London, I'm like, yeah, that seems a bit high because I went for $1,000 last year, and the year before that I went for like $700. And if I went in October, it's only like $500. So I'm using my historical kind of perspective in order to gauge if I think this is a good value or not. And here's the thing, if you're selling products, right, that people don't buy very often, they buy every 5 years or 10 years or 20 years. Think about a college education. You bought it for yourself, and then you buy it for your kids 20 years down the road. Well, of course, you're going to have a little bit of sticker shock because your historical perspective is a price from 20 years before. So you got to think about that. Now, the next thing you have to think about is actually look at the substitute products that are out there, because your customers, what they're going to do is say, look, this is the price for that flight to London, right? Well, what are my alternatives? How else could I get there? Well, if you're in the US, you could take the QE2 and you could take the boat to go there that costs, I don't know, 10 grand maybe, and that will take you a week to get there, maybe? 7 hours flight or a week in a boat, and I get boat sick. Maybe not. Maybe that's not right for me. So that's going to influence their kind of perception of value. Also, you might look at people's ability to pay. Look, it doesn't matter what the price is. I can't afford a ticket to London. I don't have the money for that. That's going to influence their value. Whereas on the other side, if you have money, you're like, oh, well, that price isn't too bad because I have that extra money laying around. I could buy that. I mean, think about it. When you have extra money left over, you're like, what else could I spend it on? What else could I buy? It's a very different perception you have of what a price is when you don't have any cash. Because when you're broke, hey, you're thinking things a lot differently than if you're flush with money. Another thing they might look at in terms of perception for pricing, they might look at the quantity or the quality of the stuff they're going to buy. So if I say it's $2,000 to fly to London, you're like, man, that's kind of expensive. Well, yeah, for basic economy, that is expensive. But for first class, wow, that's actually a pretty good deal to get first class where I get to lay down and sleep and they just give me all the wine and fancy food I've ever wanted. That's awesome. For $2,000, yes, that actually is a good value because you're getting a lot of quality for that $2,000. Or you might look at it in terms of quantity. Maybe they're charging you something like, man, that seems like a lot, but wow, I get 6 months for the price of 2 months? Okay, maybe I will do that. That's why you have those kind of introductory pricing deals. Like, look, it's worth $500, but we'll give it to you for your first month for $10.99. You're like, hey, that's a good deal. I'm getting a lot for a little there. Okay, that's kind of worth it. That's going to influence people's perception of value. And the thing is, you might see it in different ways, because if you're a college student watching this in the fall, it's hilarious because I know in the fall there will be deals for laptops and probably a deal for some console gaming system, whatever the newest Nintendo or Xbox or PlayStation is. It'll probably be, oh, if you buy this new Dell computer for your school person, you will then get a free Nintendo as well. And you're like, well, that price is, it's $1,000 for that computer, but I get a $300 Nintendo? Well, maybe I will get it. And that's what you're kind of looking at. You're trying to figure out what is people's perception of value? How much do they value something in general? What are they willing to pay for it? Are there things that influence it? And we as marketers, when we're looking at that P of price, we're really trying to figure out what are all the things that go into it, into the value that people perceive for our products, so we can capture that and we can find a price, an actual, $5.99 or $2,000 or whatever that really represents that value that people are getting. Okay, so I hope this helps you understand a little bit more about the 4 Ps. If you want to know more, we've got other videos just on each of the other 3 of the 4 Ps. Bye.